what's going on, everyone? How you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about physical media. Of course, it's the beginning of the week. It's Monday. It's the 7th of April. I mean, everything's kind of going crazy, especially if you look at things politically in regards to the tariff. That's going to be kind of a thing. We are looking at the idea of physical media going up in price. And that leads into a larger issue that I wanted to talk about today. Because the more I think about it, the more I look at it, the more I pay attention to the market and to the physical media landscape. It is very true that physical media is, quite frankly, the new vinyl, and it is going to become very niche, and it's going to price out a lot of people. In fact, I put together a full blog post about it over on the website, whad.tv, WHAD.tv, where you can find daily, sometimes multiple daily articles about what's going on. And of course, I'm going to try to cover some of those articles in these videos and, kind of like give my vocal thoughts about it. So you can kind of like read a more condensed version or get my more rambly bits. And then, of course, we have the live streams where we're just going to kind of talk and hang out and react to other YouTubers talking about movies. So I feel like when we talk about physical media, I should preface this by saying I love physical media. Okay. I love it. I do not want it to go away. I even made this, no, that's a wrong t-shirt. Sorry, I don't have that up here anymore. Wrong t-shirt. That's an oldie. If you've never been here before, folks, you don't know the Gina Carano did everything wrong t-shirts that I need to make. That's a whole other thing though. I'm so sorry. I thought I had another image. I had a t-shirt design for that I really enjoyed. But anyway, I love physical media. I have always loved buying movies and owning them. I still remember going to Suncoast and getting my copy of Jurassic Park when it finally came out on home video when I was in middle school, and then bringing it home and watching it with my family. I just got the 6-pack, the 4K collection of all the Jurassic Park movies, and I just showed my 7-year-old Jurassic Park the other week, and it scared the crap out of her, so she doesn't really want to dive into the others, but you know what? We're going to get her there. And I go to Half Price Books and I look around and I buy DVDs and I buy Blu-rays and things that I want. I just bought a $2 DVD of Cutthroat Island. Never mind, the 4K is out and I want to get the 4K. But the 4K is only available right now, from what I can gather, in Steelbook format. You can go on eBay and get it for a decent price. But that's not the point. The point is that these companies and I'm looking at the boutiques predominantly here, and even the studios are starting to put out a lot of stuff in Steelbook. I'm seeing a lot more announcements for Steelbooks. I go to Walmart and I look at the DVD selection there, the brand new movie selection there, and a lot of the 4Ks, or even some of the new releases, even the themed releases that they have for different holidays, are in Steelbooks. Now, granted, I am definitely guilty of buying some of them. I mean, I over Halloween, I bought, Return of the Living Dead 4K Steelbook, having never seen the movie, but having it being highly recommended. I liked it a lot, by the way. I got Diary of the Dead, Blu-ray Steelbook, The Stand, all 4 episodes of that miniseries from back in the 90s, Blu-ray Steelbook. It was like the only option that's available to me is buying this stuff in Steelbook. And like, it's so aesthetically unpleasing to me. Don't get me wrong, man. Like the artwork, oh yeah, hell yeah. Oh God, you get like that. Oh man, you know what I mean? Like when Universal was putting out those like airbrushed, Blu-ray Steelbooks of like Pitch Black and The Incredible Hulk and Paul and a bunch of the other films. Oh God, so good, right? They looked amazing. Those are like, you want those on posters, obviously. But I also just wanted a slipcover, and I don't even like slipcovers. You know what I mean? Like there's this weird thing with the physical media community. And I watch a lot of people who talk about it because it gets me through my nights at work. You guys don't even understand. There's a lot of joy and a lot of passion with that. But the biggest problem that I see with these physical media channels is they're like, man, got to get that slipcover, got to go buy it the third party on Etsy, which is fine. That's their right to do and whatever. But it's like, come on. Like, what do you want? Do you want it in a collection? Or do you want to actually like watch the movie? And we all suffer from this, by the way. We all suffer from this. This is a big problem for so many of us who like to buy movies. Myself, oh my God, included. My girlfriend and I used to have what we called unopened Blu-ray night. because I would buy so many Blu-rays and they would just sit unopened for years. I probably have like a freaking bin of unopened Blu-rays like sitting in my garage right now that I need to like go get shelving for and bring out and do all that stuff with. And that's a problem that a lot of us face. But like all of that aside, when we start looking at the marketplace right now of physical media, prices have gone up. Prices have absolutely gone up. Now, is that anticipatory of the tariffs that are now in effect? I don't know. They're not talking about it. Some people like to downplay the tariffs as not being that big of a deal, that they're not going to impact the prices of the movies coming out of Mexico. I don't understand the logic behind it necessarily, but whatever. But it's, but it doesn't matter if the movies themselves that were like printed for like a penny or whatever. But what I'm talking about here is like the physical material, like that goes into making them, right? If they're manufactured out of country, are all the printing, is that done there as well? I believe so, because I don't think that like Arrow or Kino Lorber or whomever is going to sit there and like do it all themselves. Maybe they will, and then they'll shrink wrap it themselves. I don't think they're going to do that. When they order like 6,000 prints of a movie or copies of a movie, they're going to order that from the manufacturer, which is going to then be printed, pieced together, and then it's going to be shrink wrapped and all the stuff's going to be applied to it. And then they're going to get it because that's what they're paying for. I don't think they're doing it themselves. I used to work in a label making factory where I shrunk wrap a ton of stuff for shipping back when I was a teenager. So like, I understand some of the process. Okay. The companies pay for all that stuff to get done, which means that stuff coming in through wholesale, when it enters into the country, is going to end up being tariffed. And that is just, again, that's a tax on us. And I do think one of the main people trying to argue against it is a Trump supporter. And I like the guy, but man, you can see it come through sometimes, and it just gets to be frustrating because, like, you don't want to be mean, you don't want to fight, but at the same time, you're like, bro, oh my God, get with it. So you've got that problem. You got the problem with the increasing prices. And then Trump is also putting on a tariff for Canada. And that was also something he was going to do with the aluminum, right? Steelbooks ain't made of steel, but they got to get the metal from somewhere. And that probably comes from someplace overseas. And so as a result of that, they're going to end up having to, jack up the prices because we're in this, massive trade war that's going to completely crater our economy. At a time when people are trying to save physical media because of the fact that it dropped 23% in 2024. Best Buy gave up. Target, for the most part, has given up. Walmart is the best example of what we have left. But man, I'll go to Walmart's and like their physical media section is half the time it's empty. I don't know if they've got any more copies in the back. I don't know if they care. And I think a lot of us end up just buying from Amazon or buying directly through, the manufacturer, right? The seller, whether it's Arrow or whomever, or maybe it's a label like, Diabolic or Orbit or whatever. And I've ordered from Diabolic before. I haven't from Orbit. I need to check out what they've got because they get some stuff that I want to get my hands on, Still waiting to get my hands on that Blair Witch Second Sight set for something that's not going to cost me the soul of my firstborn daughter. Although unless she starts liking Jurassic Park, I don't know, that might be up for option. I'm kidding. But this stuff is becoming like vinyl. It's becoming display. It's becoming a collectible for the sake of sitting on the shelf and going like, look what I have. Because one of the things that I don't see a lot out of some of these channels, and not everybody, okay, I want to make that abundantly clear. Not everybody, but one of the things I see is the FOMO of not getting it right when it comes out. And then I don't see like them talking about the movie itself. It's the bit rate. It's the size of the disc. It's this transfer. Is the contrast up? Let's look at the side by sides. Now that, the one person who does the side by sides is Last Movie Standing. That's Brian. And he will talk about the movie a little bit. He'll talk about, what he likes about it, which is cool, but he's a physical media channel, but I get it. You know what I mean? Like I like his optimism. I like him. So I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying the stuff I notice, And I feel like a lot of people who do the physical media stuff on this platform are angling to get on that list to be sent the stuff. One of the controversies that Brian from Last Movie Standing got into is when he called out some content creators for being salesmen of 4Ks, and they got real mad, like it's insulting their like artistic creative abilities or whatever. Like, no, just admit, like you're out here, look, you're out here promoting a product, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. If you grab a 4K and you're like, my God, this 4K is reference quality, this 4K is amazing, it is the best thing you could get for your money, you are trying to actively get people to buy that product, whether or not you get money, but you're trying to do it. Right? And that's part of the passion. We try to share this with everybody else, you know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of the times it's about what it is, and like rather like than how it makes you feel. Right? You're more about the packaging, you're more about the physical part of it rather than I like the movie. And I've noticed that a lot with people. I read Reddit physical media forums all the time, and a lot of the FOMOs there. Right? Like I see people go like, man, I spent like $4,000 last year on physical media. Like, yeah, did you watch them? Not all of them yet. Okay. Do you have any more pre-orders yet? Yeah, I got pre-orders. That's kind of where it's going. And the studios know that. They know that. They know that they can put out these movies in Steelbook because people buy them for the niche factor of it. Look at The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian finally came out, all 3 seasons, 4K UHD Steelbook on all of them. I don't want that. Not against it necessarily, but I just want to have the discs. I want to have it just in a standard case that can go on my shelf and I can pull it out and I can watch it. Right? Like the extra, I think, is this almost like a smoke show over what's really going on. And that we see DVDs still outsell physical 4K and Blu-rays by double. Even in 2025, this has been going on for years. Like DVDs are selling, to whom I have no freaking idea, but they're selling. And then you got like, let's say, I brought up half-price books. Love half-price books. But the biggest problem with half-price books is that like they have people now, I think, at their corporate office because they've got so many stores that when movies come running through that they get brought on in, they do a search. Right? Because more like niche films like horror and sci-fi and action and some out-of-print comedies, even the DVDs will go for like $10. And I'm like, I got Vulgar, the Brian Steven Johnson directed, Brian Christopher O'Halloran starring, Kevin Smith produced. Right? It was Steve Dave from Mallrats. If I got his name wrong, I apologize. But I found the DVD of it at Half Price Books. They wanted $8. And I'm like, how would you know this obscure ass film from like 2001, 2002, $8? Oh no, I bought the motherfucker. Make no mistake. All right. But then the other day I'm at Walmart and I come across Kevin Smith's The 4:30 movie, a movie that just came out back in September. So 6 months ago, $7.50. That's what I got it for. And it's just like, it's not like consistent in those places. They know, they're like the card shops used to do that with Pokemon, and I'm sure they still do. People go in there to sell their cards, and the guy will go in the back and look up what the resale price is online. Yeah, it's a good business tactic for him, but it's definitely not going to help the seller who's trying to get a good deal. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where things are, is that they know that the vast majority of people are getting their stuff through streaming. Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, Disney Plus, all those guys, they ain't going to drop any of their movies on streaming. I can't get The Electric State on 4K. I can't get Roadhouse, the new one, in 4K. It's a good movie. You should watch it. Like I can't get the Extraction movies on 4K. And they do this because they know that it doesn't matter. And that sucks because they're hiding so many things behind a paywall, and they're restricting them, predicated whether or not you have like internet access, right? I pay $140 a month for my internet. I'm trying to get that down on top of the $20 a month for Netflix, the $20 a month for Disney Plus, and all the other things. And it's like, I just want to buy some of these movies and maybe start like scaling down my subscription models. But they know that a lot of us aren't going to do it. I have kids, so that's not going to happen. But at the end of the day, it's like they know they can resell me something that's going to go back to my childhood because, look, they're going to put the work in. I'll be fair. They're going to put the work in. There's going to be the 4K restoration. Maybe there's going to be some new special features. Maybe they're going to get some new interviews. Maybe it's going to look better than it ever did before, which it probably will. But they are definitely doing it in a way now that they are starting to really push the price into a nickel and diming territory that I am getting wildly uncomfortable with. And I'm just curious to know your guys' thoughts on this. Like, do you think that it's going to be, that we're going to see stuff kind of even out, or is it just going to get more and more and more exclusive and more and more and more expensive? And are people just going to take it because it's their only physical option of owning it? And that becomes the big question. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys again. Have a good one. Be sure to hang out today for the live stream, and peace out.